that really could go fucking anywhere at this point. I'm just waiting until you guys decide that, oh, fuck it, we'll just kill Subal and take his lair. Because that would be a fun encounter.
I think we've got that in us.
Ancient brass dragon.
That's definitely within our reach.
Is he ancient or is he an adult?
Oh my god.
Determines what we would do. He's actually only an adult.
Let's get into the Halloween thing.
Ed, you have a candle?
Gingerbread. Wait.
That's terrifying.
Yes. Yes, it is.
That's scary. That is scary.
Yeah.
Anyway, let us begin. Hello, ladies and gents. Once again, we're back for whatever this is. A really quick recap so we can get back into it. So, after freeing yourselves from an arena within the City of Colors as the Zafar, you set off into the desert at the behest of an adult brass dragon, yeah, he's an adult, named Suval Dram, after he tasked you to rid his lair of intruders that are holding his unhatched child hostage. In return for this, you will be allowed a large portion of his hoard in his lair and be taken to wherever you would like to go. As you set off, you had faced a few dangers, such as a pair of ogres and their pet demanding a toll, a mysterious figure watching over you in the night, and the extreme heat of the desert. However, last session, we learned water was no longer a difficulty within this heat, as the party druid Garva was able to create up to 10 gallons of water, allowing our party's journey to be much easier. And Hedge has good berry, so you can all eat stuff. So, yeah, that's survival out the window. As you protected yourselves from the extreme heat, hiding away under the shade of your tents, you were ambushed by a group of half-scorpion, half-human hunters looking for food. A fight broke out rather quickly, and sadly one of your giant lizard mounts given to you by Subal was killed in the skirmish. In the end, however, you emerged victorious and travelled through the rest of the heat of the day unharmed. And this is where we pick up. Given your sudden abundance of water and Hedge's ability to create good berries, and obviously you guys haven't used many of your rations and things that you would have yet, you can pass through the rest of the heat of the day no problem. I would just ask everyone to make me a Constitution saving throw just as you travel. Well, it depends, actually, with the rest of the day, how long are you traveling before you would stop again to potentially hide away from some of the heat? It's about sort of like 2 o'clock in the afternoon now, and maybe around sort of 4 or 5-ish is when it's considered like average temperatures.
I think the plan was we switched to sort of long resting through the day.
Yeah.
Is that
yeah,
what
you
we
can
ended up doing? Long resting through the day and then...
Yeah.
That was the attempt, yeah, because we got... Weren't we resting when we got ambushed by the Scorpy people?
Yeah.
Yes, you were, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, so does that mean you're just like resting now through the day and then gonna...
Yeah, so we've travelled through the night, and then now going into the morning, we're pitching up to rest.
Cool. So, you guys take your rest in the daylight under your tents. It's very, very uncomfortable. Is anyone setting a watch while it's daytime?
Happy to go first.
Oh, of course.
I still have one thing of exhaustion.
Oh, so do I, actually.
If you would like to go first, just roll me a perception check.
Is this with disadvantage because it's a ability check?
Yes.
14.
14. Okay, so as you're sort of, you're sat there just about in the shade of one of the tents you have, looking out at the open area. Your mind does wander, staring out at literal nothingness for a very long time. Like, after a couple of days, the beauty of these dunes and the curves and waves of them all, like a massive sea of sand, admittedly does eventually get kind of boring. And so you allow your mind to wander about the events of the past couple of days and what's recently happened, maybe just sort of looking over some of your wounds that you've sustained in the fight against the Tlin Kali. And you don't really realise that your watch is up until you sort of like realise that the shadow of the tent has slightly changed, and now it's sort of like getting in your eye a little bit. And it's at that point you realise, oh yeah, I've been on this watch long enough.
Smash this wash. Crushed it.
I can move over. Nothing really happened in your watch. It was nice, calm, and peaceful. Who would like to go next? You need at least 4 people to do a watch. So, okay. Roll a second check. 17. Very nice. So, with a 17, you are just a little bit more focused. Sat there looking out a little more, and you think you notice something. It might be a mirage, obviously, with the desert and the paranoia of the danger of the expedition you're going on. It could be nothing, just a shift in the sands or a trick of the mind, but you think you see, just over on the ridge of a dune, a slight figure. A human-sized shape, if you will. Sort of just passing just sort of over the area, just a little bit out, so that you can see them. You can't really make out much details from where you are at the minute with 17. What would you like to do?
Can I just keep an eye on where it goes and make sure it doesn't come from?
Yeah. As you're sort of watching it, you're trying to look at it and keep a close eye on it, and it just sort of strays out and stands there. It's interesting. It's almost a little bit low, like like where the dune would go up. It's quite short, meaning that it's probably either it's a smaller creature, but the one you saw the other evening was a sort of like decently sized sort of 6-foot creature. This one's quite small, maybe denoting to you that the person or figure or whatever it is crouching down, somewhat trying to be stealthy, but kind of failing. And it just stays there for pretty much the entire duration. It doesn't move, doesn't really do anything. It's as if it's just sat there watching you.
Okay. I'll just let the next person know to keep an eye on this thing.
Okay. Who would like to go next?
If I go next, do I still have my exhaustion?
Yes, you won't get rid of that until the end of the long rest.
Okay. Yeah, I might as well go next then.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Where is it?
Perception.
There it is.
17, yeah. So with this in mind, to keep an eye on this creature, you are still sort of just sat there watching it, and it stays there for a pretty lengthy period of time, until about sort of 3/4 of the way through your watch, you just about notice it move, just back to where it came from, back sort of just to the right, behind the dune. Gone, vanished. It's been watching you a couple of hours now. It's a little bit creepy, and it's literally almost like dead still in its watching, and then it disappears. Also on your watch, you would notice that as this is before the figure moves away, you would notice a large bird flying overhead. It is maybe sort of like a mile away from you, but it is particularly large, very, very, very big, and it just sort of swoops around, and then at some point it ducks down to behind the dunes where you can't really see anything, and then it lifts up, and as it sort of lifts up into the air, it gets to sort of crests about sort of maybe 60 to 100 feet off the ground, and then you can just see this tiny little dot, just as if it's used its large talons to pick something up, lift it up like 60 to 100 feet in the air, and then drop it. And then it once again swoops back down to do exactly the same thing. Go back down, up, little dot, go down, up. It does this about 3 times before it eventually sort of circles around the area and leaves, heading in a westerly direction. Not the direction you guys are heading in. You guys are heading south. But with a very, very big bird. Extremely big bird. like about the size of the dragon, the dragon Subal.
Oh,
Uh,
well,
but that is pretty much your watch. It comes to a delightful end as you try and sort of get back to sleep. And as I said, about 3/4 of the way through your watch, this figure disappears. Who would like to go next, taking the final watch?
I'll go.
Yeah. Do you have exhaustion? Yeah, do. 11. Much like Garva, you are sort of sat there and, turtles, they're not meant to experience this heat. And even though you're taking the last watch, it's still like at 5 p.m. Nearing coming up to sort of like 5, 6, 7 p.m. It's like 35 degrees. Really, really bloody roasting. Sweat's getting in your eyes a little bit, and maybe you didn't have the best sleep, trying to sleep just in this sort of thin tent is the only protection from the beating sun. But no, you don't really see anything on your watch, nothing of particular note anyway. As you're sort of trying to keep an eye out on that ridge, you don't notice anything coming back or anything returning. Yeah. And your watch passes pretty much without incident. With that, the sky turns from a bright blue to a somewhat purplish color and a deep red, and eventually down into a dark sort of blue for night. The stars appear in the sky, and Garva, you almost feel a little bit better for it as they sort of appear overhead. The moon comes and crests, and it's now like a pretty full moon watching over you now as you gather up your things. Your one remaining lizard has spent most of the time really, really hot, and it's basically just been starfishing on the ground, trying to sort of expand out a lot of its sort of surface area, so it's not getting too hot. It's got a sort of mouth open with this long lizard tongue just sort of poking out. Whereas the camel doesn't really seem too disturbed by the heat. As night falls, you can get up on your stuff and head off. What was that? What does that 17 give you?
It's just a class feature. Depending if I roll odd or even, I get a certain reaction I can use.
Yeah. I know that. But what does I know?
Oh, so I can do a subtraction because it's odd. I can do a subtraction from an attack roll, saving throw, and ability check.
Okay, sweet. All right. Well,
so if Beats keeps pissing me off, he's in for a...
So
I just said you'd be a very useful cart.
Very useful cart. I fucking hope you jump over a ravine and you only just make it, and then I can take some stuff off your save.
Well, we shall see. As the night dawns, it's a sort of dim light cast over pretty much all of the desert, except for the areas which are in the shade of the dunes. And keeping to sort of the crests and waves of the dunes, you can get going at a reasonable pace. It's bloody cold. It's bloody cold this evening. And you do find in the deepest part of the evening, you can almost see your breath with how cold it eventually gets. But everyone make just to do this duel again, but everyone make another perception check as you're traveling through the night. If you don't have dark vision, do this with disadvantage.
Have we taken
How many hit
then successfully?
Yes, you've now successfully taken a long rest. You can get rid of a point of exhaustion and all that good stuff.
How many hit dice do we get back?
You get half your hit dice.
Okay, perfect. Perception with disadvantage.
You don't have dark vision. No, you do not. So you can make a perception check with disadvantage. Uh, 21. That's fine. So with disadvantage, we have an 8 from Beats, a 6 from Irvin, a 24 from Garva, 21. Jesus Christ, you guys have Garva and Edge. You guys have kind of nailed that.
We never let the guard down.
Yeah, so as you guys are sort of traveling on,
Yeah.
Garva being on the camel, sort of heading front, leading the pack, you're the first to sort of see several signs of ruins in the area. Many signs of ruins. As you're looking about, it's not really anything over a couple of feet tall. It's just foundations of buildings, some pillars that are clearly were there and now destroyed. Maybe like the feet of a statue, and now the feet have been so worn by the sand that once you can imagine maybe the toes of these statues were intricately detailed and carved, but now they're just sort of like really crappy. When you see like PS2 versions of things, really crappily rendered stone items, and maybe you would see maybe parts of these statues or large sort of shaped stone bricks in the sand every now and again. And as you come to crest down one area, you can see an area where there are many of these sort of foundations in an almost row, almost like a street. Like somehow a street is, the foundations at least of a street of buildings has survived from, God, you have no idea how long. But what's very interesting is that in the middle of all of this stands an obelisk, a large 20-foot tall sort of monument. It's almost like a sort of square pyramid that goes up into a not pointed top, it sort of flattens out to the top. And over it are several patterns and designs. Does anyone speak? I know you speak Draconic because you're a Dragonborn. Does anyone else speak Draconic?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. You can see these patterns, these snake-like patterns, are somewhat still there. They've somewhat still been preserved, and you can read enough of it to read. Hold on. Praise be to our Emperor, servant of the great Mershulk, and then it stops there.
This is like on the side of a pyramid?
This is on the side of like an obelisk. So I don't know if you've seen an obelisk. It's like a sort of imagine just like a big sort of like square pillar, like a sort of like big rectangular pillar, but the top side of it like is much smaller than the bottom. So the top face is smaller than the bottom face. So it goes in like a sort of pyramid. Yeah.
Like a really elongated pyramid with a tiny base.
Yeah. A very, very elongated pyramid with these sort of snake-like patterns down the side, and this writing in Draconic speaking about an emperor and Mershulk, whoever or whatever that might be. But one thing that does keep perfectly clear on this thing is a small sort of engraving or something, a sort of decoration almost, of a hand. It's about sort of 3 feet up, so it's about where you guys would, you're about halfway between you, and it's this sort of shape of a hand on the obelisk. And this is on not just on one side, but on all sort of 4 sides of this thing. Is there anything anyone would like to do?
High five it.
Oh.
Yeah.
What
You
killed
go
the cat?
You sort of walk up to it, being rather interested in artificing, a very intellectual person, and you look at it and you gently sort of like, boop. But as you place your hand, it's almost like you're blinded for a second. The light that emerges is incredible. As you place your hand there, you don't really get much of a sense of it because you just placed your hand there ever so slightly, but it's as if suddenly it was daytime. And around you, the foundations that were there, well, they're not foundations anymore, they're actual buildings. And you can almost see like people begin to apparate around you and emerge around you. Like a whole civilization or society is, when you place your hand on this thing, almost like an illusion of that, or you begin to see that. Like I said, you only just sort of tap it and then it goes away. You'll like blink a little bit because literally it's gone from like nighttime to then suddenly some daytime desert, and then nighttime again.
Nighttime.
Daytime.
Daytime.
With this information, is there anything I would like to do?
So is it? It was just like a flash while she was touching it, and I'm guessing
Yeah.
you pulled your hand away and it's gone.
Yeah.
Hmm. Would you relay that, or would you?
Stick your hand?
Probably. I'll be like, there's. I think when I touched it, I saw what this place might have used to look like. I want to touch it again.
Oh, like a memory.
Yeah.
Anyone want to touch it with me?
I'm going to use both hands.
Is there just one
It's
hand?
only like one sort of
I
like
was on all
hand
four.
thing, but yeah, it is on all four sides, so multiple people can touch these bits if they would like to.
I'm happy to. Yeah.
Well, that was my extra long arm.
I mean, yeah, honestly, with your long arms, you could probably touch like two sides of it, like just
I'm
around,
doing
and
it.
touch the sides. It's not
That's a little
particularly
bit
wide
greedy.
thing, but it's tall.
touching two handprints.
Hey, I'm just trying to keep you safe, so you don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to touch random objects in the desert.
And yet here I am still touching it.
There's one left.
I'll touch it.
Do we think these are the ruins we're looking for?
Didn't he say something about a big tower?
He said something about a tower which used to be a shrine,
Yeah.
and at its top, it would have a symbol of an eye.
Is
This
there a
is-
symbol of an eye at the top of this? No. Okay.
No. And from what he meant, like this is like he meant like a building tower. Like it was like a
Okay.
large shrine or temple with a large tower, like building
If-
tower. This is just
If
sort
it
of
does
like a
what
20
Irvin
foot
says
tall-
it does, when we get transported back, can I try and look for that tower?
Yeah.
I'll look
Of
around.
course. So as you place your hand on it, like I said, you have to sort of like shield your eyes because it's suddenly daytime. There's a couple of clouds sort of over the sky. And what's very interesting, you're actually standing not on sand anymore. You're standing on a sort of dirt road, like a muddy road, like you would find, I don't know, in like Amber or in like England, you know, that sort of thing. It's not a desert at all. And in fact, you feel much, well, actually, because it's nighttime, you feel a little warmer, but it's, you know, not like desert temperatures. It's average temperatures. It's actually quite nice. And as you're looking around, the people here are predominantly, they're either human, tiefling, dragonborn, elf, although it's a very particular kind of elf from the desert elves or sun elves, as they're called, or sort of like lizard folk.
Is it?
And
Does it
people-
feel like we're actually here, or is
Yeah.
it very much so? Okay, interesting.
It feels like you're literally actually here. You can smell a vendor just on the side of the road cooking up something interesting. It looks almost like bugs that are being like grilled, and it smells weirdly nice and sweet for what are essentially just fried bugs. And you can see all around you these people just going about their daily lives. They don't seem to recognize you or notice you at all. And these people are, yeah, they're happy. And this is not just, and you realize you're actually on a little bit of a hill here. So you can see, you're not just in like a small little village or whatever. No, this is part of a sprawling city. This is massive, absolutely huge. And as you're looking out for this tower, this shrine, you sadly don't see it all around you. But you do see this symbol, this eye symbol, painted across many doorways, across some sort of flags and things like that, and many sort of things. And you realize the eye symbol is like a serpent's eye. So it's, you know, like sort of like a regular eye, but with a sort of like slit, a sort of slit pupil instead of a circular one. All around you, people, yeah, just going about their regular lives. But as you're watching, even just after a minute, all of a sudden, there's a sort of like dong, 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 and there's the sound of marching, and immediately, almost like as almost a regiment, people immediately just run to the sides of the road and drop to their knees, faces down into the dirt, hands sprayed out in front of them, like palms completely open. People have literally dropped breads. Like one woman you see literally like drops her child and tells her child to do this as well, and drops down. And you begin to see this procession walk through, this procession of what look like half serpents, half people. They are sort of like humanoid. Well, they're actually, most of them are different. The two at the front, anyway. Well, at first there is a lady at the front. She is sort of like has a humanoid upper body, but her legs go into a serpent. And she wears these beautiful green and golden robes. The people behind her, the men behind her, are these huge buff dudes, but with the heads of serpents. And the procession behind them has a mixture of all these people. Men with sort of snake legs and bodies, women with serpent heads, and all this sort of different stuff. And they all wear similar adornments over them, almost like religious clothing. And in the middle of the pack, you see they're holding a man by chains. The chains are wrapped around his wrists, his neck, and his legs, with just enough room for him to be able to walk, like just enough slack. And as he's walking through, you can hear him plead out to people, please, someone, would you help me? Please, I don't want to die. And eventually one of them just walks over to him and slaps him straight across the face. The slap is so hard it sends him sprawling to the floor, but with how the chains are, he can't quite fall without other people giving him slack. So they do, but they immediately pull him back to his feet. The woman turns and goes, silence! You will be sacrificed to the great Mershok. You should be honored.
Are they coming to the obelisk?
They are, yeah, they're like passing the obelisk.
Oh boy.
And the man sort of turns around, I will not be honored to be sacrificed to a demon god, a horrid god that does sacrifices. The woman turns to him and sort of pulls out a blade. This curved, sort of slithering blade. And at its head, it almost looks like a sort of serpent's head on its end. And she just walks over to him, places the blade sort of just on his sort of like collarbone here, and just lightly slashes all along this curved thing from that collarbone straight across, and down to his sort of like stomach. And this man screams in pain as this is happening, but with all the men holding him very, very tightly, there's nothing he can do, and he bleeds onto the floor. And you can see the people around here, no one's doing anything. No one has their heads up. No one is looking at anything that's happening here. And she sort of lifts her blade up, she wipes it on a small rag and sheaths it again. That will teach you. You'll understand the honor you are being given today. Now come, we are nearly late. And she asks the procession to move forward. And she looks at the people around. Is there anyone here who would like to sacrifice themselves to the great Mershok? Anyone? Your sacrifice will benefit us all. And she looks around at the people. She doesn't look at any of you. It's almost like you guys aren't even here. She looks around at several other people. And then she looks at one particular boy. He's maybe about sort of 14, 15 years old. And God be damned, he's tempted by a look. He looks up very briefly, realizes that people are now looking at him, and then shuts. And then she sort of clicks, and two men come and grab the boy, put him in chains. And as he screams, even the woman he's calling out to, his mother, is so terrified and afraid, she doesn't lift anything. She doesn't lift her head up and beg and plead. She doesn't make a sound other than a very silent weeping on the ground. And they are taken away. And the procession eventually moves past, moves away. The sort of gong of someone using some large drum heading on. And then that is that. And people stand up. The woman who's the mother sort of like wipes a few tears from her eyes without saying anything. People try and come over and console her, but she doesn't want to talk. She doesn't want to talk about anything. She just gets on with her day. And that's pretty much it. Otherwise, you stand there watching the events of this day keep going.
Ben,
Yes.
I am a tender 256 years old. Would
Yes.
I remember anything? Is there anything that seems familiar to me here that I might have seen in my time? Or is this old?
This is old. In fact, anyone who's sort of like looking at this can make a history check.
Remember, Mama told me about these in a story.
Oh, Lord. Somehow.
Your mother did actually tell you about this.
I was listening to class, Mama. You proud of me, Mama?
Anyone else? You might as well give it a go. History. Oh, we got +3 in history. Never mind.
I think the biggest let down here was Abby with a +7 getting a 10.
I know.
Oh,
I'm
that's
disappointed.
really.
in
Oh,
myself.
well, then.
Beats
alright.
knows the most
Okay.
history. You saw that coming.
There.
Beats the scholar.
I'm
Beats
tempted
the
to
score.
roll a dice to subtract from your roll just so that isn't a thing.
So as you're looking at this, yeah, Garva, you are trying to think back, but in your time, you haven't really, in your time as a druid, you haven't really come across any, you haven't spent much of your time looking into books and the histories of this place. Maybe you've seen an old shrine or an old item or two and some myths and stories, and you would have all heard about what's called the Reckoning. A thing that happened, God, maybe 1,000 years ago, plus. No one's quite sure exactly when it happened. But Beats, maybe you, with your old tribe, maybe you came upon a very old set of ruins, a very old set of places that gave you a bit more insight. And you were able to deduce with your fellow hobgoblins and goblins and what have you that Mershulk was some kind of entity, some kind of god. And this place used to be luscious and green. It used to be an extension of, above this place is essentially, like arid lands until it reaches a rainforest. It used to be that rainforest would just lead into more greenery and lusciousness and everything. There was no deserts. Large scale, like a god scale event where basically, for whatever reason, the god's wrath came down onto these lands. But Beats, you from seeing these ruins or whatever, you maybe had some sort of insight into thinking that maybe this Mershulk, whoever he was, whatever he was, had something to do with this reckoning. It's one of the more prominent things in Titan's history, is this reckoning. It was, as you guys have potentially seen, looking at this place used to be luscious and beautiful, but now it's a massive desert with literally nothing but heat and death and all sorts. So, gods know what happened, what truly happened anyway. That's a little bit of insight you can get into this, Beats. Would anyone like to do anything else while they are here?
Take the hand off the obelisk.
Yeah. Simon, take your hand off the obelisk and say nothing. Think like there's anything else. We can move on after that delightful note. You'll get up and keep moving through the.
Is it still ruins and stuff?
It's so when you take your hand off, yeah, everything goes back to ruins. It's almost like when you take your hand, everything almost like fades to dust around you, and you're left.
No,
with
sorry,
the-
I meant it's like if we press on, is it still?
Oh,
is it
yeah,
like a big city of
Yeah,
ruins?
as you press on, yeah, you are now seeing a lot more ruins, more than you potentially have seen. Meaning that you at least think you're close. Suval said that you will eventually get to a point where you will see lots of ruins, and that means you are somewhat close. Maybe with the way he described it, another sort of day, half a day through the desert, and you should be at least within sight of it anyway. So you're getting close.
Okay. Push on.
Yeah.
Can I keep an eye out for shit in the ruins? It seems like a very easy place to get ambushed from.
Yeah, of course. Roll a quick perception check.
Oh, balls!
You think you're doing a pretty good job,
Hmm.
at the very least, but
It's all of
you
the
don't have-
imaginings.
You don't have dark vision, do you? As a lot of stuff.
I don't think so, no.
So yeah, like trying to look at a lot of these ruins, they're sort of cast in the darkness of the the sort of shade from the moonlight, and it's very, very hard to see sort of in them. But as you're traveling on, you don't really notice much of anything. You push on for maybe an hour or two, and you sort of like rise and fall over the dunes, and eventually you reach a sort of area of, well, that area was in a bit of an area of sort of lowlands-ish. Lowlands for the desert anyway, behind several dunes. And as you begin to raise up one, you begin to notice something in the south sky. The area is darker than usual, but then there's a spark of light. And then it retains dark, but then there's several just sparks of light, like forks of, almost like it reminds you of lightning in a cloud. It's pushing your way. Probably doesn't even require an H check to tell you that, shit, there's a sandstorm. With lightning, you can make a nature check on that if you wish, but there is definitely a sandstorm coming your way,
Oh,
and shit's potentially about to get real.
I have this.
I really dislike that you're rolling well and stuff you have absolutely no modifier in. It's just not
Yeah.
okay.
You could say that beats is a natural.
Oh no.
Yeah, I went there.
Ben, did you set out any rules about sort of in-party conflict, or are we happy to just...
You're happy
start.
to just go. And for that joke, a giant red dragon comes out of the fucking storm. No, it doesn't.
Thanks everyone for coming. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure, guys. No, so as you're looking at this beach, you've seen this before. Maybe you've been in one of these sorts of storms before. You've no idea why it happens with a zero in nature. You have no idea why it happens, but you know that I'll give you that being within it, it's like there is a giant lightning storm going on within. It's like a sandstorm, but there are just forks of lightning that come from absolutely nowhere, and you can't predict them, you can't try and find them. All you know is that being in one is very, very bad, and you've known many a goblin to get caught in one and come out as ashes. They just get blown into the dust of the sand.
You merely adopted the storm. I was born in it, molded by it.
Why don't you go walk through that then, and we'll take shelter. How does that sound?
I pull out my clubs and I go and fight the storm.
Roll initiative. You're fighting a sandstorm. So yeah, what would you like to do with this thing inbound? I'll say Beats also, and sort of with Garver as well. You would know that you have maybe a couple of hours before this thing is on you. It's moving particularly fast, so you maybe have a couple of hours before this thing hits you, and you will be enveloped by it.
How long have we been traveling? Have we made good headway, or?
You made very, very good headway today, especially traveling in the night without the constant heat burning down on you. Yeah, I'll say you've made a lot better headway than you would have anyway if you're traveling through the day.
Okay.
Is there any place to take any sort of shelter, even if it's just like a little rock ledge?
You can make a investigation check to try and sort of search the ruins for a place to hide. With that 16, I'd also say that obviously this is like arcs of lightning, so just like a little ledge. You know, these arcs can curve around that can cause quite a lot of damage. And even still, even just at the ledge, you would be in the middle of a sandstorm. I mean, this is the thing all of you can do. All of you can see this sandstorm. All of you could, if you wanted to, go and try and investigate and look around.
Abby, I'm so excited for you to roll over a 4 at some point.
I'm looking forward to that day.
Especially the +7 thing. That is tragic.
All right, Ben.
I apologize. Damn, Hedge with the 19.
Stop rolling well with no more.
You want to make an investigation check, or are you gonna leave it to people? 14.
Pizzas.
That's going pretty well. Pretty well.
So we.
Oh,
wow.
22. All right.
So we're looking for like a proper sheltered area, almost like a still intact building, I guess. Really, as much as it can be intact.
Yeah. So here's what you can find. Around you, you can see sort of 2 areas that you might think would help. Both of them are very much in the distance of where you think you can see, but so it would be like either go to one or go to the other. On one way, you can see a large sort of cave, a large sort of cave open. Well, actually, no, it's not a large cave opening. It's quite a small cave opening, but with the darkness that's within, it must be a decent size. And the fact that it's a small cave opening probably works well in your favor. It means a lot of the sand won't be coming in and around the places you are. Or, on the other hand, you can see just in the distance the remnants of a sort of building, and you can see stairs that go down, but sadly they've been broken and destroyed. But you think, well, you can also see the stone floor, so maybe if you could break through the stone floor, you could then go into whatever this building used to be and hide down there. It is
like a basement.
Up. Yeah.
I don't really like the sound of. I mean, a basement sounds safe, but not if it's a crumbly ruin.
A cave would be safer, except for possibly it's already occupied. But that just sounds like fun.
I think we go for the cave.
Sounds like a win-win.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So after spending, I'd probably say, maybe like an hour, sort of traveling through the ruins and everyone keeping an eye out and people seeing different things. Yeah, you'd eventually spot this cave, spot the other place, and decide, okay, yeah, let's take the cave. As you get up and you travel towards the cave and you realize this is a cave, but it was once an old building that's crumpled down, and a dune has essentially been a dune and rocks and all sorts of stuff have laid over it, and now it is just this sort of small opening of a sort of doorway. Inside is pretty much what you would consider a cave. A lot of it sort of collapsed and crumpled down, and you can really only see the walls have sort of turned very smooth, and it's all very natural inside. You wouldn't really be able to tell this once was a building anymore if it weren't for some sort of stone tiles on the floor still somewhat there. But Hedge, with a 19 as well, and the fact that you are who you are, as you would approach this place, you could see a very, very old sign on the door. This place has, in Thieves' Cant, a very, very old mark. These are very much out of date. Who you are, be able to ascertain that there is a sort of symbol or sign here for danger within. Like, just that something's off about this place, and it's a general just something's off about here. Be warned.
Sounds fine.
Those are my favorite signs.
Obviously, only you can read this. Otherwise, it's just like this little marking, just little like scraping or marking on the side of the thing. Would you tell anyone about this, or?
How old does it look? Like, as old as the ruins?
That it is pretty out of date, and these haven't been used for at least a good I don't know, like 20 or so years. Like maybe when you were first starting out, you might have used them and been told about them, but ever since, people have gone for a more unified thing that pretty much anyone in your line of work throughout all of Titan can use and understand, whereas before it was more localized symbols. So at the very least, you think maybe 20 plus years. It was like a deep sort of, at one point you can imagine this was a deep engraving, which is now sort of eroded away a little bit.
Yeah, I will pass that along then. Say that there is I'll point it out and say this means that there's danger here.
What sort of danger?
It just says danger.
The good kind?
Is there a good kind of danger?
I mean, so far, all we've had is good kinds. Except for stupid ogres. Because we didn't get
So it's the choice of a danger we can see and a danger we don't necessarily know about.
I opt for the cave danger.
I'm
always
putting the cave
for
danger as well.
the devil you know and the devil you don't. Some beats the lost for you. You get that for free.
I mean, yeah, there is also the possibility of just head into the sandstorm. Fuck it. But
No, I think
I can
we'll
take him.
go into the cave, but be watchful.
go into the cave, but be watchful. All right. So you somewhat still your resolve a little bit, and by the time it's sort of taking you to walk all the way up and over to this cave and everything, and realize this, have this quick discussion, and settle yourselves in. The storm is maybe about sort of like half an hour away now. So before you're entering and bunkering down for however long this storm or the sandstorm will last, is there any last things people would like to do outside the cave or anything like that? Or
What time is it?
the time right now is probably around 2 a.m.
Oh, okay, so we would have still had a lot of our walking day left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there any reasonable amount of rubble nearby that maybe Gala or Beats could put in the way of the entrance? Yeah, so like loose rubble and stuff to like shield it a bit so it doesn't get covered up with sand, so we don't end up buried in there.
Yeah, I mean, if there isn't, you could, Ayla has a massive hammer and stuff like that. You could easily
we make our own rocks here.
chip off, chip off a little bit of the foundations of some of the buildings somewhat nearby and carry those up to block yourselves out a little bit.
I'll do some lifting.
Yeah. Anyone who would like to help lift big rocks, just make a athletic check to see how many you can lift, you can bring up, and therefore how much you can essentially put in place.
Because of my powerful build, do I get a lower DC or like advantage?
I'll give you advantage because of powerful build.
Alright. Didn't need it.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Me too.
Very nice rolls.
There is a member of this group that's not trying hard enough.
Do Minotaurs get powerful build?
Not that I have written down.
Possibly.
Fair enough. I would have. No, that's interesting. I would have thought that would be a thing that Minotaurs get. But there we are.
Matt's never mentioned it, but I wouldn't take that for.
Well, that's because I'm assuming Matt is using a different kind of Minotaur than. I'm assuming Abby's using the new Minotaur that's been brought out. And Matt's using the old one.
Ooh.
I don't think there's much difference, but maybe there is. I don't know. Either way, with all them stellar rolls, yeah, you can pretty much bring like a series of. It's almost kind of funny the way Ayla uses her hammer to sort of knock off some foundations, and you guys just generally push over some. It almost is a perfect fit with how you're sort of pulling these up, placing them in front, and there's there's like one or two small holes that you can see, very sort of small Yeah, small little holes and things that you can see, but otherwise, it's not bad. And when you get inside, you realize it's a sort of like 20 by 20 foot cave on the inside. There's plenty of room, but it is now like as you sort of close up the last thing, literally like 5-10 minutes before the storm hits. It's obviously pitch black in there. Close it up, and yeah, within 5 or 10 minutes, you can just hear like, and you can just hear the sort of like rattling of sand over this area, and you can begin to hear the. It's interesting. There's not really much thunder. There's no thunder at all. It is literally just forks of lightning, like just like these. Yeah, literally just like how you would hear like a lightning bolt spell or something like that. Just, coming across.
Is it very dark in here?
It is now very, very dark. It's pitch
Can
black.
I just flip up a produce flame?
Yeah, flip up a produce flame. Looking around the cave, there are a few, well, not a few, just one or two little things to mention. The first of which is that at the very back of the cave, there is a somewhat opening. It's not very big. It's maybe about sort of like 4 foot in height, and about sort of like 4 foot wide. It probably was once a doorway that has been sort of like the rubble of whatever fell has just collapsed down onto it. But there is also some writing scribbled in a language. Who speaks Elvish?
Yes.
Nerds.
Yes.
Yes, I think you might speak Elvish as well. Might you? I think.
We have multiple elf speakers.
I think you actually brought it. But I know you speak Draconic.
It's the same as me.
Oh, right, yeah.
Beats, what do you speak apart from primate?
From the Feywild, so I would assume I'll be giving you that. So, those of you who speak Elvish can read this scrawled inscription on the side of the thing, and it reads, Darren, I have heard a voice from further in the cave. I think there's someone trapped down. They said they're trapped. Sorry. Darren, I've heard a voice from further in the cave. I think there's someone trapped down here. Or at least that's what they've said anyway. I'm going to check it out. When you get back, wait for me out here. I shouldn't be long. And then it's just scrawled, with like some stone or whatever, just into the side of the cave.
There's a skeleton here. How long did he wait?
There is not a skeleton in this room anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah. Normal.
Can I ask Hedge if this engraving is it engraving?
Yeah, it's someone's just taken a stone and like wrote it on the side of the thing.
Does it look similar to the thieves' cant that was put at the front, or no?
Somewhat, yeah.
So
You could imagine
the
that a
same
similar
person.
tool would have been used for this sort of thing. And given
But
the fact that this is obviously a cave with a small entrance inside, it wouldn't have had a lot of erosion or anything happen to it, especially in this very dry area. There's no like water to trickle down and erode it or anything.
Is like the handwriting the same, or is it as much as it can be the same?
Yeah, well, it's obviously very different. Thieves' cant is just like a load of like symbols, whereas this is actual Elven writing, and Elven script is somewhat, I've always sort of thought of Elven script a little bit like sort of Arabic. It's very flowy and in that sort of regard. So it's different, but you don't really know.
Okay. Let's try and sit out the storm then.
Sit out the storm? Yeah. Is there anything anyone would like to do whilst you just sat here sitting away the storm?
I think I could do my Tales from Beyond now and hold on to it until.
Yeah, go for it. Roll I believe it's a D6.
Yeah. Number 4. Oh, it's the teleport one again.
Oh, hey, look at that.
Nice.
Look at how much worked out. Cool. You can give someone the ability to teleport. And when that person teleports, they can choose more people to teleport. So that's great. That is when you give someone then your next bardic inspiration. As you guys are sat here for a little bit of time, pretty boring. As you're sort of sat, you can hear.
Can I check out the back of the cave where this
Of course.
opening is?
Yeah, of course. You sort of slide underneath, and with your shell on your back, you just hear it scrape against the sort of top of the thing, and you move along underneath. And it appears to be sort of like this somewhat large open room. And in this room, just to the right, there is indeed a skeleton. The skeleton has a small sort of like leather pouch that's on them, and some basic clothes and some leather armor. You can see at their side like a sort of a small dagger, a sort of like caddish dagger, simple sort of curved, almost like sort of like a dragon's tooth shape. And that's about it in here. But there is a stairway, it seems, just further into this room that leads somewhat down. This stairway is, you can imagine, once it was probably quite nice, but now lots of the stone work has been somewhat eroded and thinged through, and some of the rubble when this thing collapsed clearly collapsed onto it, making it somewhat a stairway, somewhat like a just rocky slide all the way down.
This skeleton, does it have any obvious cause of death? Like any missing limbs or anything like that?
Make a medicine check.
Medicine check is wisdom-based medicine.
Not that you can see. Not really, anyway. Looking around at this thing, you try your best to think, but it is just a skeleton. All of it's intact, so nothing was cut off.
No, like rusted swords buried in its spine and.
No. Nothing like that, which is almost curious in and of itself, meaning that nothing left it here to die with a spear embedded in its belly or whatever. No, you can't really see anything of that sort on it. There is this dark, ominous sort of stairway that leads down.
Sounds like a good time.
Sounds like a very good time.
If no one's followed me through, I'll go back and just relay that there is a staircase that's sort of half rubble. There's a skeleton.
As you begin to sort of turn around and head back, you begin to just sort of hear this thing, this whisper, echo through the cave. And in fact, you'd probably all just about be able to hear it, though it almost seems to have almost triggered with you getting up and about to leave. And it's just this voice that says, "Free me. Free me, and I will give you the world."
That sounds like a big responsibility.
All some T's and C's in the small print.
Someone didn't say the magic words, but, for the world.
Take my treasures.
How's the storm looking?
More
At this
inviting.
point, it's been about 10 minutes.
Shit.
It's still really raging on. You maybe like go and just sort of look through the small peephole, and you recoil as a lightning strike just sort of lands weirdly close. Make me a quick perception check as you're just sort of looking out at this. thing.
Oh, I bet there's some shit outside as well. Ben's put us in a rock and a hard place.
Both are my middle names.
Beats
Yeah,
rock
as
hard
you-
place.
Beats the weapon, rock hard place, adventure, Clive, dark dude.
Dark dude.
Is your surname just Dude then? So you just introduced yourself Beats Dude.
Oh, we haven't even started on the surnames yet.
Oh, okay.
He's got lost in his
It's a lot of hyphens. in that
array
section.
of names.
But yeah, as you look out, and you know, like I said, you almost have to recoil as a sort of shard of lightning comes down. But you do take another look, and you almost have to double check yourself because you thought you saw a person.
Oh, fuck off, Ben. This is not a nice situation.
With a 22, that's definitely not a person. It's way too big. It's way too whatever, and it doesn't really have a face. It has a figure-like form. Make a quick nature check for me.
I'd rather not. I think
Well-
ignorance is bliss here. Nature.
13. Okay. You don't know exactly what these creatures are, but they seem to move through the wind. It's almost like they would be invisible, were it not for the fact that they're literally in a sandstorm, so the wind is getting caught up on them. And as it's catching them, it's almost twirling around their form and twisting around them. And their form is that of it's like a somewhat humanoid-esque body, but there's no legs. It's almost as if it's just like wafting through the storm.
Like a wisp.
And yeah, almost like a wisp, but it does have almost like hands and this large looming face or head of some sort that is almost looking through the storm. And with a 22 perception, yeah, you can definitely tell it's definitely looking through the storm. It's not just like there in the storm. It is literally looking around. And with a 22 perception, you can also see that's definitely not the only one. As you keep looking, just over the next minute or so, and you can see 1, 2, 3, and many.
Hedge, I'm so happy you suggested we semi-board up the door.
Would you call the place we came through an entryway?
It's definitely an entryway of sorts.
Excellent. Arcane lock, thank you.
Arcane lock. Put arcane lock in the.
You said it was an entryway.
I said, okay, yeah. You touch a closed door, window, gate, chest, or other entryway. I feel like, and it becomes locked for the duration. Okay, a closed. It says like a closed thing. So a closed door, window, gate, chest.
Have we not closed this entryway with our
or
rocks?
entryway. And yeah, that's the problem, is you technically have shut it with your rocks. And all it really does, you can set a password when spoken within 5 feet of the object, suppress as a spell for a minute, otherwise it's impassable. Casting knock on the object, suppress the arcane lock for 10 minutes. While affected by the spell, the object is more difficult to break or force open. So it does mention about forcing it open, so it doesn't have to be a thing with a handle or that can be locked. It's just a thing that's in an entryway and able to open. So yeah, of course, yeah, I'll allow it.
Yes.
You can quite a creative use of lock. Yeah, you can cast arcane lock over it. How does your arcane lock look over this pile of stones set over this entryway?
Just everywhere that there's like a stone outline, it's just like outlined in like little twinkly.
Yeah, but just like little sort of like arcane, sparkly, sort of like energy. Yeah. That's perfectly fine. Actually,
You look out the window, you see a shady gang walk by, just like, okay. You just get your talkies.
Is
Be safe.
Is Irvin an artificer or a rogue? Because Ben just got swindled.
I did indeed get swindled. But no, to be fair, it does technically make perfect sense. So yeah, as you sort of watch this thing is cast, and as it's cast over the door and it's got this sort of sparkled energy, you can see just from the sort of side, just through one of these small holes, that one of these creatures sort of comes somewhere near the area and does look at the area, and it's almost stood there watching, like its head is sort of hung low, and it's almost just like wisping, wafting through the air, and it twirls and spins a little bit. It comes up to the door, and it does try and sort of like, and it just sort of wafts an arm in that direction, slamming a force of dust and sand and air in its direction, but it just dispels over the whole thing, and then very quickly, almost like just after that, realizes, this ain't gonna work. And gone.
These creatures outside, they're like made from the storm, but separate from it.
You can also make a nature check if you'd like.
Oh, I can't
It's
see.
like,
I'm still in a.
Oh,
He's stuck in a hole.
but yes, they are almost as if they're made from like they're invisible, wispy things of air that are being caught up in the storm, and the storm is almost making them somewhat visible.
Are these the same things that were outside the other while we were on watch, or is it different thing?
This is very different.
Okay. Cool.
This is this is somewhat different.
Oh, more things.
I know, right? But yeah, every now and again there's just this small flash of where lightning has struck somewhere near the entryway, and it's caused this small flash to come through some of the small little holes. But what would you guys like to do? You've got this sound, and now it's almost like detected you here somewhere. Every couple of minutes, it's just free me, and I will grant you what you please. Shh.
Has Hedge come back yet?
Have you come back yet, Hedge?
No.
No. Where are you
I'm
going?
just gonna go to the hole and just Hedge. You're right.
just the trunk comes through the hole.
Are you okay?
Alright, I'll go and go in,
I
alright?
can't see through this thing, but
Oh, it's like fucking Horton Hears a Who. You know that movie? And he uses his trunk to like speak, and it goes under a door, and it looks around.
perfect.
How
How far has he gone in?
far have you gone in? It's like a sort of 10 by 10 foot room in here with the stairs leading down on the opposite side.
Where's the skeleton in relation to the entrance? I'm probably
Literally like right, like just to the right of it, as if this skeleton was trying to make for the exit but gave up and just died here.
I'm probably just still next to that.
Can my trunk reach it? I want to go right next to his ear and just. You're right, mate.
For the sake of
He's
comedic quality, I'll allow it.
Take the skeleton's arm and just shoot it.
I have a feeling he doesn't get spooked.
Not in the darkness, that's for sure. The darkness is my friend.
You merely adopted the darkness. Yeah.
Are you gonna
Start
risk
whispering
me?
at the top, I'm gonna piss in the cave!
Piss in a cave. Beats pisses in a cave.
Oh, shit.
I'm threatening the cave. That keeps whispering at me. Let me just shut up. I'm gonna piss in the cave.
Mighty warrior,
Oh, I'm listening.
who could benefit from my guidance.
Is this directional or is this to all of us?
Well, this one seems to have responded to Beats' threat to piss in his cave.
Can we hear it though?
Yeah. All of you can hear it. This is like a strange. It almost sounds like it's sort of being carried by the wind. This whisper that just sort of wafts through your ears, kind of thing.
So it's heard rather than in
Negotiator.
the mind.
Yeah. It is definitely heard. Yeah, it's a bit like when you stand in one of them large buildings with like a domed ceiling, and you stand in one end and you can whisper something, and someone on the other end can hear it. It's almost like that.
Hedge, mate, you haven't responded to me. Are you alright?
Yes, I'm fine.
Okay. Anything
Sure.
interesting in there?
There's a skeleton.
Anything else?
There's some stairs.
Can I fit through this hole?
Yeah. It's like 4 foot by 4 foot, so none of you are wider than 4 feet. So you can all fit through the whole part.
I don't know, Beats
Okay.
and Ego's pretty wide.
I mean, I'll come and have a look. I would advise against going downstairs. That seems like a dreadful idea, but
Yeah.
unless
As you,
Beats goes first.
If you have
Dreadful's my middle name.
I want to
Another middle.
sneak up to the stairs and just have a look down them, see what I can see.
Do you have dark vision?
I do.
You do. Turtles have dark vision.
No, they don't. But I do.
Well, turtles don't, but you do.
no, they don't. But I, because
Oh,
Gloomstalker.
fair enough. Oh, fair enough. So as you begin looking down the stairs, it disappears into pretty much pitch black, right at the end of your dark vision. But you can see in sort of it is sort of dim light, and it does seem that somewhere down the way, it seemed like where the rubble fell would have subsided, and some of the lower stairs wouldn't have been affected. And it goes down about sort of 20 feet before eventually reaching a rest. On the sides, sort of halfway down, about 10 feet down, there are sconces for where one would, place torches and light up the area. And then it seems to sort of drop, and at the very bottom of the stairs, you can almost see like this metal gate.
Like a regular door-sized gate. Or-
Yeah, like a regular sort of door-sized gate. It's so this area that you're in now is that stairway down is sort of like a 10 by 10 foot, almost like square. And the gate fills that entire square pretty much, and it's adorned with, from what you can see, several interesting. It's almost like a brass metal gate, and it's adorned with several insignias that like insignias and emblems and adornments and decorations that seem to have something to do with flame. You can definitely tell, like sort of halfway up where the sort of like bars are, there's this like extension bit out of it that almost looks like a flame sort of within the bars and stuff like that. It's very, very beautiful. Whatever this is, it's clearly built by some guy who had a lot of money back in his day.
I feel like
Based on anyone's knowledge of sandstorms, how long could we expect to be in here?
You can make another nature check. Anyone can make another nature check anyone from these areas can make another nature check.
Don't disappoint me now.
18.
Fucking
yeah,
ages,
you know
mate.
that-
Fucking
Yeah,
ages.
they can be anywhere between an hour to 8 hours. Like, you don't really know until you're in it and you're out of it.
and it's been
Some of them, it's like a regular storm. It's no different to a regular storm that lasts. Like, a regular storm could last an hour, could last a day. It could be over and done with in like 20 minutes.
Right. Having seen those creatures, I think we want it to be well clear before we even think about stepping outside. So we've got time if that's your issue.
Yeah.
Are we all caught up? Are we all through the hole? Are we all going through the hole?
Might as well. The wall,
Yeah,
the
we'll go through the hole if you like.
front door is safe.
Yeah, you're all through the
Can I
hole.
walk up to within reach of Hedge and my trunk just come up behind his ear and what'd you see?
I see there's a gate. It's covered. It looks to be brass or something of that colour. There's flame, sort of like motifs and insignias on it.
Ooh. Recognise the motifs at all? Actually, Ben, did you say there's a sconce on the wall?
Yeah.
Can I take it and just light it with my cantrip?
Yeah. They're like
Okay.
halfway down the stairs. So, yeah, you can sort of head down the stairs and like 10 feet down the stairs, 10 feet off the 20 feet, and just light them up. And yeah, you can see a little bit clear. clearer now. As you head down, you can see a little bit more of the gate and what's through there. And it seems like the room that is through there has definitely taken some impact from the rubble that has sort of come down on the area and destroyed some of it. But it does open up into a larger room with a podium right in the center of the room. From where you are, sort of 10 feet up, from the angle you're looking down, you can't quite tell what the podium, like what's on it, but you can tell there is a podium somewhat in the middle of the room. You can head down further and take a better inspection of the room if you'd like. There's a gate, you can see through it, like a bottom gate.
Curiosity.
I
Yeah.
will like to check for any sort of dangers or anything like that as we progress.
Yeah, make an investigation check.
Just before Gala goes and sticks his big elephant foot on something.
I think I would break the trap.
Well, that's shit.
No, to your eyes, to your Gloomstalker eyes, you can't really see anything that would denote any traps or anything. It's been a very, very long time since there were any traps. You almost think to yourself, well, they'd probably be destroyed by now, so don't have to look very hard.
The mechanism's eroded.
And you head down, and in the middle of the room. So
this is a room that's behind just a gated door.
Behind a
Okay.
gated door. Yeah, and you look out into the room, and you can see it is a large, sort of 60-foot by 60-foot room, and in the middle, like I said, there is a podium, a stone podium with sort of flame engraving, sort of all on the side of it, and on this podium, on this plinth, is a beautiful brass lamp. There are almost like an incense lamp. There are red gems, bright red gems on the side of this lamp, and it is currently closed. And in the room, on the other side of the room, there is another gate, a brass gate, and through that you can see several rather interesting things. Urns filled with gold to the point where they're tipping over. You can see a beautiful piece of armor that doesn't seem to be natural. You maybe have to take a bit of a better look at it. A beautiful gilded bow. Several items and different things that maybe were whoever owned this place's. You're not quite sure, but definitely some interesting items. You also see a beautiful necklace on a sort of on a nice sort of podium, and what else we find?
Tiny club.
A beautiful sort of almost like a necklace as well, but it seems to be a necklace for a very large creature. On this small, like thin brass chain, bright red gem. Couple of potions just sort of back in the corner, and you can tell they're potions by the very, 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 very dim glow of what they look like back here. This place is pretty much completely dark anyway. But that's pretty much what you can see.
Can I check the door for traps?
Yeah, make either investigation or perception, depending on how you're.
Would you like some
Look.
help?
Yeah, if you're offering. I'll also guidance myself because why not? 21.
21. No, looking at this gate, you can tell there was once a trap. There was once a trap. As you look at the bottom, and you can see it's almost like a piece of string at the bottom of the gate that is now broken. And around the sort of area, just where this is, you can see a small indent in the floor, as if some sort of explosion or some bludgeoning or heavy impact type thing went off. But that trap has probably now passed, as the string is broken and just laying there on the floor. You can see it broken. And looking around, you don't think to your eyes anyway with that roll that it's any sort of illusion, it's an illusion of a broken string, so it must be free of traps. No, you can't really detect that at all.
Double
Looking
bluffing.
at it, it's not even locked. There is no lock on this gate. You can, or there was a lock on this gate, but it has since been opened.
I don't overly trust this situation.
I was going to say, let's just not touch anything because it might free the weird man who keeps whispering after us.
There's a lady in it.
Oh, is it a woman?
It
I
is
don't know.
it is male. It is a male voice.
Someone say touch?
No touching.
No.
Oh no. Oh, I don't like that.
I will give you what you wish if you would just free me.
Who are you? Bingo.
I am an entity not from here, a prisoner in this cell of brass. Free me.
Hear that?
Aren't you free?
I was imprisoned by a creature of great power, a dragon by the name of Suval Dra. Free me. I might get my revenge, and you will get these treasures and so much more.
Does he realise he sounds spooky, so we're not going to trust him?
No one ever goes for a jovial approach, do they? It's
Yeah.
always.
He
Hello
sounds
there,
so
would you
nice.
mind freeing me, please?
Well, Ben, last time we did that voice, Ben, that worked, didn't it?
I did.
What is
Can you
your
imagine
name?
that?
I would ask him.
Oh god.
Tignatis, Lord of the Brass City.
Ben, can you just speak a bit louder? We're having real trouble hearing you.
Boys, my name is Ignatis, Lord of the Brass City. I didn't realize I was meant to like loudly whisper, but I ended up just actual whispering.
None of you can hear me. Ignatus, yeah?
Yep.
Hello.
Lord of the Brass City.
Or rather, I meant to say one of the lords of the Brass City.
Okay. Is this the Brass City?
Brass City lies on my home realm.
What's your home realm?
Free me and maybe I can take you there. It is a beautiful place of great wonder and mystery.
Ever heard of the Brass City, Ben, or is that?
You can make a history check. Be a pretty high DC, but anyone can make it. Or an Arcana check.
Irvin, would you like some help with this check?
Oh yeah, I'd love to.
What was the other one? History or
Or
20? Dirty 20?
Dirty 20.
history?
See
what?
how
Oh wait.
gets on. Okay. So the Brass
Arcana.
City, it's definitely not heard of from this plane. However, maybe there was a time. Oh, nice.
I'll
Maybe,
get in the bin.
And I'll tell you what, the DC for this was 20. So
Scholar.
sadly, Irving, you and Hedge are sort of trying to talk to each other, and you're not really coming up with a lot. But Garva, maybe you've heard of this being so close to the desert, a place that has a somewhat natural connection with this particular realm. The Brass City.
Is it the Fire Realm?
Yes, you don't know much about the Brass City itself, but you know that it's almost like the capital, the main place, the largest place in this realm is the Brass City, and this is the realm of the elemental plane of fire.
Of course, I knew that.
I will relay that and say I don't think this is something we want to mess around with.
They'll probably burn everything.
I vote for heading back.
I don't know, this guy's kind of persuasive. This guy's quite persuasive.
Persuading you with what?
I see.
He said, fire. More talk about fire. I'm a historian. I know for a fact he's not lying about the fire.
Warrior, great warrior of the Goblin tribes.
He keeps calling me the Great Warrior, so obviously he's heard about me.
I have a weapon that you might enjoy. Should you only free me so I may give it to you?
He doesn't need any more weapons.
He is the weapon.
I thought you knew who I was. If you knew who I was, you know I am the weapon! Right?
Can be improved.
Ooh.
Every sword sharpened. Every armor enchanted.
Listen to this silver tongue devil.
Beats, I think there was a... Do you see this gate here?
Yeah?
I think there was a key on the skeleton upstairs. Can you go grab that?
Why didn't anyone else pick it up? You guys are useless. Fine.
Have you gone to pick it up?
Yeah, I've got to pick it up.
Right, now that Lummox has gone, what are we actually doing here? Because I think this is very dangerous territory. I think we should just sit this storm out and carry on.
Yeah, I think we should go back up.
Yeah, they have beef with our employer, and that's not a little crossroads we want to be involved with, I don't think.
Are you saying this out loud? Like, I'm assuming.
I'm saying it to the group, yeah. I'm thinking it at all of them.
You know, Suvoldran.
Sorry?
Heard of this brass dragon, Suvoldran?
He is our current employer, yes.
He is a snake.
I think he's a dragon.
Boom.
Only free me, and I can tell you who he really is. He is lying to you, deceiving you.
I think we're going to need a bit more up front before we just free you.
He's being too persistent. It's
Yeah.
sketchy.
Remember how persistent we were when we were prisoners?
The man's got a point.
I didn't ask to be let out. I just did it myself.
What keeps you imprisoned here?
I am trapped within this slab of brass. I cannot escape. I must be free.
How? Breaking the lamp?
Merely place your hand on the lamp and wish me free, and I will be within your net.
What if we just throw a rug over it? Do you think it'll muffle the whispering as well?
Do I come back yet? How far away is this?
There is no key, Beats.
Beats, make an investigation check.
Natural 20, here we go.
You get one now. I'm confident.
No.
Yes, you go upstairs.
Oh, what's that? That's karma.
9. You got upstairs and you're looking on the skeleton. There ain't no fucking key.
I can't find a key,
Yeah,
so I'm not coming back empty-handed, so I'm going to take the skeleton with me. Because they said there was a key.
Like I said, he has this like old leather sort of like sack, and you do look in there and you can see some shiny. And
Mine.
A very basic look in there doesn't give you anything other than like a couple of gold pieces. Very, very old gold pieces, but gold pieces. And that's it. And yeah, other than that, you're like, there ain't no key here. You lift up the skeleton and just holding it by one of his rib cages, you just drag it back down the stairs.
One of his rib cages. His rib cages?
So one of his rib bones.
What species is this?
One of his rib bones. You just drag it back down the stairs. Yeah, ribs. One of his ribs. Yeah.
Hey, so there wasn't a key, so I thought you just want this.
Just throws the skeleton and just clatters down the stairs.
Thank you. Unfortunately, we can't get in if we didn't find the key. So
I am the key.
As you
Where's the door?
it's right in front of you. You can
No.
see the handle and everything.
No.
Okay, I'm gonna. I'm gonna cast beats to the door.
Cast beats to the door.
Yeah. Just me. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna hit the door.
You're gonna hit the door. All right. You swing and hit the door.
I'm gonna try and stop him from hitting the door.
Okay. I'll say either one of you two can make an athletics check with advantage, or you can both make athletics checks. Beats you.
How about
either of them?
Irvin? You help me.
I was about to say, you make the check.
Yeah. So Beats make an athletics check, and Garva make an athletics check. Whoever wins will decide on what happens.
Oh my god!
Oh! Yeah, Garvey, you go to step in front.
Are you trying
like,
to-
out of my way, moves
What?
you aside.
The weapon?
Irvin, you're late to helping. You don't expect like Beats moves first, and Garva moves quickly after, and you go to help. But by the time he's got past Garva, you're then just getting to Beats, maybe grabbing his arm or whatever. Not really hoping to do much with your strength, but grabbing his arm regardless. And then Beats just with this mighty Spartan kick, just doosh, you kick the brass gate, which just doosh, 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 opens up. And yeah, the door is now wide open. And as you've opened the gate, immediately within this room, a light from a somewhat chandelier. It's not really a chandelier. It's like from the ceiling. There's this sort of like brass disc, and within that there is almost like a flame has been thing, and that's hanging from the ceiling. So it's almost like a like a light, like a light from the ceiling just opens up, and several sort of like sconces and stuff in the corners of the room are light with flame.
Oh shit! Have I made a mistake? I thought we were trying to get in. I don't know why you guys were sitting around all day.
Yes, mighty warrior, just a few steps closer, and I will be free.
Oh no! Fuck you! No! I'm sorry, guys. I'm truly sorry. I'm just gonna. You guys go ahead. I'm just gonna. Okay. I apologize sincerely. It won't happen again.
Who are you apologizing to? The guys or the lamp?
No, the guy. No, because I didn't think I was helping that guy. I thought there was a lamp, and then there was a gate elsewhere.
No. There's a gate in front of you, and then a lamp in this room.
Okay,
And then
I'm
on the other
closing
end of
back
this
the
room,
gate.
there is another sort of gated off bit, and in that gated off bit at the other end of the room, there is lots of treasure you can see.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, there's a fancy bow. There's some nice armor. There's different. There's lots of gold, like urns and vessels of gold.
Thank you, Abby.
Different things like
That's
that.
very kind of you.
Yeah,
I closed the gate back.
you close with you on the outside of it. Have to throw some room for it.
I'm staying with the team.
Staying with
I'm
the
closing
team.
the gate.
You
Oh, what's
immediately-
this
you
change
kick,
of
You
heart?
kick the door open. You see all the lights. You see all the lights sort of light up, and then immediately just step right back. Done. shut the gate slowly behind you, and as you shut it and let it go, it just automatically reopens itself.
I'm just gonna sit down, cross my legs, and I'm not moving. I'm not making another mistake. It happens too many times.
What are the sources of light?
They're just sconces in the room, and this one light that's on the ceiling is like this fancy. It's like a sort of like disc with a flame within it, and because that flame is sort of like lighting up the like above it, and there's some holes in that disc as well, so that the light from the flame is almost being cast down as well. Like a sort of like spotlight sort of thing, and then some sconces on the sides of the room. Yeah, the room is mostly destroyed except for this gate, the podium in the middle, and the gate on the other side.
The sconces, they sort of like wall-mounted like torches or something?
Yeah, just like wall-mounted torches.
Okay.
Nothing extremely fancy. Maybe there
Walk
once
into
was
the room
something fancy,
and
but
pick one up and upend it into the ground, like into the sand. Does it go out or does it stay lit?
yeah, you pick it up, you try and shove it on the ground, stays lit. Try and kick it, try and wave it, try and do all sorts of stuff to it, stays lit.
I mean, are we going in?
Are you? I don't know. Maybe about sort of 20 minutes has gone by in this storm. Now you've got plenty of time, or plenty of time to sit back, relax, wait the storm out.
Is it just the gate on the other side, yeah?
It is just the gate on the other side, podium in the middle with a lamp on it, and the gate on your side to get back up top.
Through the other gate, is there, other than like all the gold and armor and whatever, is there anything else? Like, is there another door?
No, not as far as you can see.
I say we just go back up then.
I think I agree. I think that's sensible.
How does the room feel? Like,
Feels warm as you step in, especially with this like new light and everything around you. So, and when you step into the light of this thing, yeah, it feels kind of warm. Nice relief from the sort of cold desert evening. Yeah, really nice relief from the cold desert evening.
are there any shadows or is it completely well lit?
It's pretty well lit. Like there's some shadows along the sort of edges of the room where some of the torchlight isn't really getting, especially in the corners, like right in the corners. But yeah, it's pretty well lit.
Just have to put up with the whispers and just chill out here, you know.
Okay, I want to try something. If I take a torch out of the room, does it remain lit?
No, you pick up a torch, take it out of the room, and immediately just and almost like sand, the flame just sort of disperses. And then when you bring it back into the sort of threshold of the gate, it's light again. Dispersed. Light. Dispersed.
Magic room.
What's happening?
I'm trying to work out the room.
I'm gonna go back up. I don't want to.
Oh, I'm going to follow. Yeah, this doesn't seem right.
I don't want to be the skeleton.
No, my good stuff.
The sconce that Garva lit before.
Yeah.
If I take that, if I put that out and take that into the room, does that light up?
Sconce that Gava.
So
the ones that were just on the stairs? No.
Okay.
Those ones seem to be unaffected by whatever's going on in this room.
Okay. How many lights are in here?
There's the one main disc light in the middle, and then there's like 4 torches. Well, 3 torches technically, because they're in the middle of the wall. So
Right.
actually, no, that technically means only 2, because there's the gate on your side, which is where one torch would be. Gate on the other side, where another torch would be. So it's just the 2 on the sort of side.
Okay. I'll put out both lights.
Put out both lights. Put out both lights. It's just a light cascading from the middle.
Does that significantly reduce the light in the room?
I wouldn't necessarily say significantly. It's still like bright light in the room from this main light coming down from the middle, but otherwise still bright. You just get questions from this whisper. What are you doing? Free me now. I know you look at the bow. It could be yours. Yours. It has great power. Yeah.
Anyone know now?
Pardon?
I think it was just Evan and I that went upstairs.
Yeah. You're pretty much the only one in the room. Pretty much
So walking around the room, doesn't feel any different. Like it's just a room.
Just a bit warm from the light of the torches.
Can I examine the gate on the other side?
Yeah. It seems to be. Well, roll me an investigation check or perception check. Your choice.
Perception, because I'm not touching anything just yet.
Okay. 23. Yeah. So you can see that it is much like the one on the other side. It's got these flame insignias and stuff. But the bars to the gate are literally from bottom to top. It's not like a door. You can assume there's maybe a mechanism to either lower or raise the bars. So it's not the case where people could just come in and pick a lock and take stuff, kind of thing. There's maybe some mechanism. With a 23, I'd say you can definitely feel almost like a reverberation of somewhat magic from this, in the sense that there must be some kind of magic, because you don't see any buttons or levers or anything to lower or raise it. So there must be some kind of power that, I don't know, maybe this guy has, if he's offering you this thing. Maybe whoever's inside this Ignatus, maybe he has the power to lower and raise them. Obviously, talking about giving you the treasures and stuff. But that's about what you get. They're sort of that far apart, maybe like a foot apart, like half a foot apart, sort of thing.
You know what? I'm going to cast Detect Magic. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a look at my fucking spells and realise I've got Detect Magic.
You cast Detect Magic, and immediately the gate lights up with a orange glow of both evocation and enchantment. You get the sense that there is some sort of magic here to prevent people getting through. And also some kind of magic that enchants these things, maybe perhaps to simple magics, maybe perhaps to raise or lower or whatever the things, or make them disappear or whatever. You're not quite sure, but it's that evocation magic is quite strong over this. Definitely something, and with the sort of color of orange and things like that, you can definitely get the sense that it's some sort of fiery aspect. Some fiery, flame-like aspect of it.
I might just back to the entrance to the room, and just fire an arrow between the bars on the far side. Yeah,
you fire an arrow. As it goes just between the bars, the arrow from the point, where it sort of hits in, it strikes, and then even the metal arrow tip melts immediately. And then the arrow shaft, without even breaking momentum, just burns up and up and up and up. Feathers burn up, and then the entire thing's gone.
Ooh.
Good job, no one touched it.
You want to do anything with this gate?
And we can't go over it.
You can't go over it, no. It's from floor to ceiling.
Let's take it back to the old school days. You can't go over it, can't go through it. Can we go under it? Can we go around it?
We can leave you to your little project here and try.
Yeah, is there anything else you would like to do in this room, or are you just leaving it there and going and waiting with the others?
If we all exit the room, do the lights go out?
No. Not by just exiting the room, anyway. And you're constantly just hearing in your head, yes, you're so close. Just a few more steps, please. Let me free. I will tell you his secrets. I will give you the weapon. I'll give you anything.
I don't want beats. I detect magic is like 10 minutes. So looking at the plinth, is there anything surrounding that?
Not the plinth itself, but this lamp is filled with all sorts of magic. A very fiery magic, but I guess it's more sort of enchantment, but it's that sort of enchantment where you know something crazy is going on inside this thing. This is, clearly some kind of magical lamp. Some abjuration. That'd be a good one. Yeah, abjuration magic's over it, like it's keeping something in or keeping others out or whatever. So you definitely get that sense from it. And on the sort of like sconces around the room and the light above, it's evocation magic, turn on and off, basic sort of stuff.
Shall we have a break so that JJ can think about what he wants to do?
I think that is a good idea. Yes, let's go. Let's all go have a quick 5-minute break, and when we get back, we will move on to see what JJ potentially wants to do. Yes.
Yes. Yes, boss.
Cool. So, with us back, JJ, have you thought about what you would like to do with
Yes. First question:
this
is
doorway?
there a handle on this lantern?
On what lantern?
The lantern.
On the oh yeah. Like I'm talking. Imagine the genie lamp. Like it's basically a genie lamp.
Okay.
All
right. I want to take a dagger and see what happens if I try and pick it up, like using the dagger like off the plinth.
Yeah. You just slot a dagger through the thing and lift it up. Nothing happens, but the guy's like, merely place your hand on me. That is it. That is all I need. Please, I beg you.
I'm gonna put it back down. I'm gonna back up as far as I can down the hall and still be able to see the lamp.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna shoot it with an arrow.
Shoot with an arrow? Are you trying to shoot any particular part of it, or?
I mean, just hit it. You know, so probably like the center.
I have no thing that you can't shoot a still lamp, but roll the damage for me if you could.
Roll the damage. Okay. Oh shit.
Probably.
Well, I've hit it. So it's just the one.
I'm gonna take that crit.
Oh,
I'm gonna crit. You aim up an arrow, and you fire it off, and it hits it dead in the center, denting the sort of well, not really denting it. It's a magical lamp, but it knocks it off, and it ding 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 ding. You're like, oh, that didn't really do much, huh? Then you begin to see wisps of smoke forming on the bottom. And you're a fairly perceptive guy, and you notice that the lid of this thing, small little lid, has separated from the lantern itself, or the lamp itself. These wisps twist and contort in the air, and it's almost like wisps of smoke, but within the smoke ignites a flame, ignites a spark that now twists and swirls through this thing, and you can just hear this long sigh that's just like... And then from these wisps, it almost goes into a form, into a humanoid form. And as the smoke condenses, well, not really condenses, but condenses, it almost begins to solidify. And then with a flash of flame, and then these light sprinkles of sort of embers and ash sort of fall into the ground. You see now a figure standing before you. This figure has bright red skin and wears quite fancy desert attire, like golden, almost like a sort of golden and blue overshirt, a rather large headpiece. I don't know what they're called, the big sort of Arab like headpiece sort of things over his head. He has a thin sort of beard that goes over, and then a sort of longer one, thin sort of mustache that connects to a large beard ringlets that have sigils in them that almost like glow with a fiery essence. On his side, he has a very large flail, sort of strapped to his side, that seems to also have this almost like burning like eminence from it. And he does have the sort of, like the Arab sort of pointy shoes that slightly point up, and the large baggy trousers. He looks like a very rich, very, very rich sort of person, really. A very rich and a very powerful figure. He is large. He is considered large. He's about the sort of size of an ogre. So he's about sort of like 10 feet tall, broad, very, very broad. You can tell he's probably pretty strong. And over his bare arms, you can see these sort of they're not quite tattoos. They're almost like marks on his skin that go in wisping and shifting forms like flame. And around his wrists are these golden bangles. And he looks at you. Oh, thank you. That was uncomfortable.
Can we hear
It
this?
is it's pretty quiet. I mean, how far up did you guys go? Did you guys literally like leave and go back through the hole?
Probably.
Or then you probably can't hear much of this.
Well, how long did it take Edge to do all of that? I guess a couple of minutes, really.
Yeah, like a couple of minutes.
We're probably well out of earshot then.
Yeah.
A fair bit of pondering, not just smooth
That
moves one or the
was
other.
uncomfortable. Thank you. Oh, more hair, 5 fingers, 5 toes. Ah, perfect. Thank you very much. I believe I may have caught your name was Hedge, was it not? I confess I have not seen one of your kind, but I have heard of them. I have certainly heard of the great turtles. Arid, good hunters. I believe it is known that they are a kind folk. Thank you. I should have known it would be you who would set me free.
You're welcome.
As I have said, my name is Ignatius. A Nefriti, we are called. My people are called. We are part of the Jinn from the city of Brass, a lord of the city of Brass. And you have helped me greatly, Sir Hedge, greatly indeed. And as I said, I am a being of my word. Of course I am. And so, of course, I will grant your wish and allow you access. I'll grant you a wish and allow you access into my treasures. Of course, I'm not a madman, but I cannot allow just anyone to these things, of course. You understand, these wishes, these treasures, they're powerful things. So you must do another small thing, just another minuscule thing for me, of course, before we can work out the details of this treasure and everything like that. Of course, you understand. Good
There are
turtle.
always strings attached.
Of course. Well, that is the way of the world, is it not? I'm assuming I'm still in the desert. Yes, they still look like the desert plains. Okay, no one moved me. That is quite nice to see. Oh, it was very uncomfortable in there. Oh, my word. And it's good your friends went away as well. They were, they were not kind.
Sensible? Is that a word you're looking for?
And so, we shall be off. We only need go back to the city of Brass. You will do the small thing I require of you, and then your wish, your treasures, they'll be all yours. No strings attached.
What is it you require?
Oh, hardly worth mentioning. Very small thing. Just a small few details that need to be hashed out. Of course, a man like you, it would be nothing, really. Just come with me, and we will go.
I'm a man
Well-
used to a contract. Signed. In detail. You don't sign a blank piece of paper.
Fine. You really want to get particular about it? Well, it is just a small matter of, servitude, really. The city of Brass is ever expanding and ever growing. It is the greatest city in all the multiverse. And trust me, I would know. I've been to many of the planes of existence. I'm thousands of years old. The greatest city I've ever seen. The greatest city anyone has ever seen. And it is always growing. It is always improving. And to do this, we need, well, people to improve it, to build it. Our people, the Afriti, we are generally tasked with going out to the different planes and finding helping hands, shall we call them? Yes, helping hands in order to build this city for us. And trust me, once their deed is fulfilled and they are still alive, well, of course, they leave with a wish. They leave with a wish and all the treasures they could desire. They'll return to their homes, lords, kings, emperors, great mages and warriors alike. And so, it is only a few years' service. Nothing off your back. Pardon?
How many years?
Time works differently there. It would be nothing at all, really. Nothing you would ever fear. Anyway, when you came back here, of course. Hardly worth mentioning.
Put a number on it, please.
You know, I thought you were a good man. I thought you were honest. And I thought you did this out of the kindness of your heart. I thought you wanted this. I thought you had heard of me, the great Ignatius. Have you not? I'm assuming that is not why you are here. Of course, that's not why you were here. You didn't know my name. You didn't know anything. You were very hesitant coming down. This is all very wrong. All very wrong indeed. So come, we will go now. Or, well, I'll be making you go. You can come. What is it? What is it you folks say on this plane? You can come quietly. Yes, come quietly, or well, things will get very loud for you.
I wanted to like you.
Do you not like me?
I wanted to like you. I was willing to let you go freely without the payment of the treasure that was promised. You can just leave.
Oh, that would be very nice.
Without me.
A small stipulation, however. I've been gone a very long time from the city of Brass, many hundreds of years here. I mean, you can imagine if time works differently, how that changes and how that affects things. And if I was to come back from all this time away with nothing, really nothing to show for it, I mean, how would that really look? How would that seem as a lord of the great city of Brass? So, this is not really a request for you to come with me. This is a...
What about your
you and your friends are coming with. Pardon?
What about your revenge here?
Oh, my revenge here, of course. Yes, that I will get to that in time. But I first must come back to the city of Brass. I would like to see how it has grown. I would like to reclaim my lordship, at least gain myself my armor, my real proper weapons, and, well, my allies to back me up. And then, well, I will be taking the head of Subaldran and placing it very, very nicely in my home in the city of Brass. Oh, it would look so good on top of my wall. Yes, that would be very, very nice. But yes, he is, Subaldran, he is very much lying to you. Almost definitely. He lied to me. That is why I'm here. That's why I'm in this thing.
I have a counter-offer. You return.
Well, generally in this line of work I don't really do counter-offers, but you're a strange little man with a funny little shell. Let me hear it.
You return to the city of Brass. You put right your affairs there. When the time comes for you to take your revenge, you have an ally in this plane.
You're forgetting the one thing I mentioned before. I cannot go back empty-handed. And you're also forgetting the fact that, well, I'm a lord. I have many underlings in the city of Brass. I don't really need your puny mortal allies.
And yet you ended up a prisoner of Suval when you were here on your own before.
Oh yes, that was a mistake. I will not be making again. Of course it will not. I was alone. I was ignorant back then. But in my time in the lamp, I have learned. I've learned.
You need some help. I agree.
Ah yes, learned that I need some help. The help of other Ifriti. Not, well, you little people. Your little people and your little problems and your little breads and your wives and your little gold pieces. Oh, that is so funny. No.
Did he call me little?
I will be.
Call me low! I can't hear this, can I?
No.
No.
Although,
Oh, but if I did...
You have sharp ears
Hedge
when it
has
comes to
still-
insults about you.
although by now, like Hedge has still been down there for quite some time. It's about sort of like 10 minutes, 15 minutes since you guys went back up. What would you all be doing up top? Just sat waiting, or
I feel like if it's been 10 minutes and he's still not back, I would get concerned and go back down.
yeah? And as you sort of like duck underneath the thing and get to the stairway, you can now hear the voice of this other creature, this powerful sort of booming voice
Bottom head.
of this other creature down there.
I think the thing's out.
Oh, okay. Get the club out. Beats, Ayla, draw weapons.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll make a careful way down the stairs, I think.
Make a careful way. As you come down this. Oh!
Well, it doesn't sound.
Almost on cue, yes? Thank you very much.
Oh.
Friends, please come in, please. You're more than welcome to come in.
What the hell did you do?
He freed me.
You guys were worried about me?
Yeah,
and it was the castle!
Yes, admittedly.
you've
Mr.
lost your title of the
Fulbright,
liability.
You are all
Never
you are
again.
a intense,
Can you guys
brave
blame me for
characters, I
everything?
must say. I mean, we have a portal, we have a Minotaur. We have some of you in the city of Brass. Very nice people, very, well, generally quite angry.
I'm
You
gonna
don't
get
seem like-
angry at you.
Look at the little mortal getting angry. Oh, it is adorable. Maybe I think you would be good to bring back, actually, if I brought all of you back. Well, you're like a walking. Oh, what do you do? You people have the circuses here, yes? Ah, yes.
We are Beats and the Menagerie.
God, I forgot about that.
Beats and the menagerie. Yes. Well, you are quite the menagerie. Of course. Yes. I mean, we have
You
a
forgot about it, Abby, because it's very forgettable.
we have a dragonborn of entirely moonstone. That is very, very, very fancy. Yes, a bugbear. Interesting. Loxodon. I've of course heard of your people. Very famous, very wise. Yes, I think you will make apt things to bring back. I think about to bring you back.
Bring back where?
The city of brass, element of plane of fire. I just need to bring you all back, and then you do some years of service, and then boom, wish, treasure, everything you want. You'll come back to this plane, and you'll be emperors. You'll be rich. You can turn this land into what it once was.
Hedge, care to explain?
Are you proud of yourself?
Yeah, Hedge. Excellent.
I tried.
You tried what?
To touch the lamp. That was rule number 1. Don't touch the
I
lamp.
didn't touch the lamp.
What is it on the floor
You
then?
did the right thing, really. You are all in what, like 10 years, going to look back at this and think it is the best decision you ever made. When you are sipping on ivory wine, you are drinking from goblets of pure gold, you are sleeping on beds of, with feathers from geese from the astral plane. Oh,
I don't trust Suval.
No, you don't
well, that's
need
probably
to.
That's the one that released him.
I don't trust him either.
Well, that is very I feel like
Oh,
I've
yeah.
been very trustworthy since I've told you nothing but the truth. I've offered you, well, treasures and kingdoms and a wish. One of the most powerful things I can give anybody, a wish.
He did, like, rule number 1 of bad people. He did the whisper voice. You know that's a bad person thing.
Well, admittedly, yes, the whisper voice is something that I wish I could not have. I feel like this voice is much more welcoming for people, but sadly when I'm inside the thing, whisper voice is all I can really do. It's very, very, very quiet, yes, and very, very, very eerie, very creepy. So
What's,
don't give me a good attitude. I feel like I would be much better off if I could not whisper, but there we go.
Lord Ignatus. Is that your name?
Yes, and he called me a lord. I'm liking this one. This one will be good, yes. Hello.
What's the scenario here where we both go our own ways?
Well, That would be in several years' time when you've done the service. It is fine.
Without
Very
the servitude.
vague on that number of years.
Well,
Could be
okay.
any days of service.
Okay, here is the problem. I cannot go back empty-handed. So if you, very interesting people, are not going to go back with me, what is?
Nothing.
Oh, we could.
can I-
We could. Oh, go on, Bits.
So we're like underground, right? Because I guess the cave is like, or it's
Yeah.
like whatever. What is 30 meters above us?
Oh, this sounds
30
like
meters above you is
Beats
just
taking the
stone.
liability title back.
It's just stone. Like this is like
We're not-
underneath a pretty big rock formation / sand dune. Like 30 feet above you is, yeah, nothing.
Okay. So that's that pine out the window. Never mind.
We are about to go and we could potentially have some people to send your way if you could be patient.
What do you mean?
Can I discuss this with my group first, please?
I don't like it when people do the whispering.
It's just weird.
I think if we ought to make a deal, you'll be open, you'll be honest, or of course
Okay.
things can get very much closed for you.
There is a group of individuals we have been contracted to kill.
Okay, you were saying they could come. Who are these individuals?
We
You
don't
must
know.
understand, you are all a very interesting array of people. If they are just like piddly humans, oh, but we have plenty of piddly humans. They're like the main thing. They're the main people we like to take. Big majority.
Hedge, I thought this was a good idea, but I think this is dangerous given the employer of the job.
I'm just gonna put it out there. I've not known you all for very long, and I'm not a criminal. But you all seem really at home with killing. And now someone genuinely bad is in front of us, and you're like, nah. You know what? It's fine.
Okay, can someone please put a muzzle on the mind?
No, I don't think he's-
bad and keep doing
I
bad.
don't think he's okay, Irvin. I'm just trying to get out of the shithole that Hedge has dropped us in. You know, the
Yes.
hundreds of years of servitude.
Yes, I'm not doing any
Wait.
of that.
You mentioned you were going to Suvol's lair.
Oh,
We did not mention that.
Oh no, okay, no. Oh no, you did mention that, but okay, so he says, well, there may be something we can do. Suvol is lair. It is near here. Somewhere. I know not exactly where. It has been an apt amount of time. Maybe there is something in Suvol's lair that could be interesting. If he is your employer, well, he must, and you are out in the desert. I know his lair is near here. I've been there. It's a very lovely place. Very, very, very nice. Very quaint. Maybe there is something there. Maybe.
You want something there in exchange for...
Well, has he told you of anything in the lair that might be valuable? Interesting?
Well, aren't all
Potentially
dragon
exchangeable
layers.
for a minotaur, a turtle, a bugbear, a moonstone dragonborn.
Aren't all
And
dragon
also-
hordes a mishmash
It's a
of
whole
wealth?
dragon horde. That is tempting. It's a lot of gold, and I know. Yes, maybe. But then, see, here lies the issue in that to go there, kill Suvol, but I can't kill Suvol because I need to go back and get the reinforcements and yada, 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 yada. I'm getting very bored of this and I'm getting very tired of this. Can we all make a decision, please?
Put a number on the years of service.
It's in our land, it would be something like 200. But for your world here, it would be, well, like 5 years. About. It lasts. If you do a good job, we might give you a bed. Huh? I know you little mortal people love beds. We love sleeping in them. We love sleeping in them. It's rather lovely.
I don't live that long.
Oh no, trust me.
I want to be in
Oh,
service
trust me,
of
in
anyone.
because of the way time works, well, you would live as long as you would here. So you would live, well, you could live thousands of years in my world.
What kind of service are we talking?
Well, lifting things, moving things, pushing things around, building houses and great temples and all sorts of things. The city of brass is ever expanding, ever growing. Maybe you'll be lucky. Maybe you can build something exciting. Like a.
It's not really within my skill set.
Well, that is a
Much
shame.
more of this, and I will fire some arrows at him.
Oh, thank God.
Okay. I'm gonna say, make me a sleight of hand check. Because obviously, this is like, I'm assuming like you obviously had your bow out to shoot, so this is like pulling out another arrow and firing before he can necessarily react.
Blast you from the face of the earth.
12.
I will. I did back up to the stairs, so I was hopefully in shadow. I do have an ability that if they rely on dark vision to see, I'm technically invisible. Just throwing that one out there.
The thing is, obviously, with the light coming from the room, that would emanate up some of the stairs.
Damn it.
So you would still, unless you were much higher up the stairs, that wouldn't really be in darkness, per se.
I would like to have remained in darkness, unfortunately. It's unfortunate.
However, he did roll a 1. You were able to really quickly just pull out your bow, flick up an arrow into the noose, and go ahead and take your shot. As we will all be rolling some initiative, apparently.
Oh, that's garbage.
As the arrow sort of
Who knew that it was going to be the damn turtle?
clatters against the back wall. Like, I really had high hopes for you people, but, well...
Oh, yeah.
But
Beats has been hungering for a beatdown.
He has indeed. All right. So roll some initiative for him. Ooh, what is...
we'll get to your apology later.
Oh, headshot. I will.
Okay.
I was wondering why you wanted to serve him for hundreds of years.
Well, I was hoping to be a cool space assassin, but
No.
it seems like he's going to want me to be a builder. And
Yes, a slave.
yeah, it's not really my bag.
No.
You've turned up
not
for
really my cup of
a
tea.
job application for a bin man, and you've gone, yes, but would I be serving the kings and queens of this country? No, you'd be a bin man.
Yeah, but have you seen my juggling? I'd make a great entertainer.
That's fantastic. You can entertain the other bin men while you're doing the bins as a bin man.
That is the way it's gone, unfortunately.
Oh,
I'm
15.
not
Oh,
sure how else you expected it to go.
I thought it might go better.
that
I
beats
love your optimism.
Ayla.
As misplaced as it is, we love the optimism.
Hey,
Cool.
I'm
So,
already contracted to work for one entity.
beats.
What's working for a different one?
Beats.
A
You're
breach
keeping
of contracts, conflict of
You're
interest.
keeping an eagle view of all of like everything that's going on here, and immediately you see the arrow like quickly go up and is notched and fired back. And as this entity, this Afriti, just moves out of the way. By the way, as I forgot to mention, as he's been let out, the podium in the middle of the room drops down into the floor. That's why it's not on here, so it's no longer there.
Where are the stairs?
So the stairs up are here. These stairs here are like blocked off, the rubble destroyed. Can't
would
go
we
through that
all
way.
be-
But then this is the gate.
Like, effectively
So I
off
guess
the
you
map
would-
here.
So you guys would be like, yeah, like effectively over here somewhere. Like imagine the gate is this sort of entryway. You guys would be way back, sort of here almost. So just somewhere back there. But yeah, beats. Arrows flown off. Your hands were probably already on their clubs. What do I have to do?
Now I'm trying to remember how everyone. Because I know we've got like 2 ranged people, right? Or is it? Like
You got a
2
couple of people with range, yeah.
Can you just tell me who's melee again?
So Ayla has a massive hammer, so she definitely seems very much a melee fighter. From what you've seen,
Yeah.
Hedge is definitely a ranged fighter.
Ranged.
Garva is a druid who can cast spells and stuff, so he's done a little bit of both so far. And same with Irvin.
Okay, so I'm gonna give the teleportation to Ayla.
Ayla, if you want, you can teleport 30 feet of you as a reaction immediately.
Not yet.
Oh wait, can't I put it on myself?
You can put it on yourself, yeah.
Oh, because like it says I can put it on one person, but then that person chooses other people.
Yeah.
So
you
I'll
put
put
it
it
on
on
yourself.
myself and choose Ayla.
Okay. So
It
Ayla,
also-
you can teleport 30 feet if you like. You don't have to, but you can.
Would anyone else actually? Is there a limit? To who
Yes,
I-
I believe it's an amount of people equal to your charisma modifier. So, what's your charisma? Is it 1, 2, 3? I think it's like 2.
My charisma is 2. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can choose
Well-
2 people. So, Ayla and someone else.
I guess Garva.
Garva, if you want, you can teleport. You don't have to.
I would decline that offer, thank you.
Fair enough. You do not teleport, but Beats, you can teleport. That's your bonus action.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's one use of your bardic inspiration.
5,
Used up.
10. Okay, so, and I can reach from my long arms here. Oh wait, no.
You can, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm gonna give him a thwack.
Give him a whack. Hold it as you suddenly just apparate in front of this guy that's like beaming down on you. And like as you apparate, your clubs are already now in your hand. And just this like
This does-
bestial bugbear roar echoes out.
Wait, this doesn't count as a surprise attack, does it?
No. This is not a
Damn it.
what Hedge did was a surprise. This not really.
Well, should I have had advantage on that then? Because it was a surprise.
Yeah. I'll give you that. Roll another attack. See if it's 5.
Oh.
Well, yeah, that's a lot better.
If it's a surprise, then I would, in theory, also get sneak attack.
You would get sneak attack, and you're an assassin rogue, so it's doubled.
I'm not an assassin rogue.
You're not an assassin rogue. Never mind.
I'm not an assassin.
But yeah, so 7 plus 9, 16. Nice. Cool. Beats. What were you up to? You apparated
I give him-
with your long arms.
Yep.
Cool.
Whack.
Rolled hit.
It's a. Why isn't it? Oh, there it is. D4.
You got to roll to hit first, so it should be on your
There we go.
There you go. Yeah. So yeah, 27 hits, and then you can just click the little club thing down below, and it'll do the damage automatically. So that's 6 damage. Yeah. So as you apparate in front of this guy, it's just a really quick club straight across the face. You can attack again. You can attack 3. No, you can only attack 2 times because you've used your bonus action.
Yeah.
So you can attack 1 more time. And at 23 hits, the first club, bang, second club, up the chin. For another 6. But indeed. Nicely done. Everything beats.
Yep.
Cool.
Shall I do?
Next up, him. And he is going to. He's just going to stand there like, fine. Well, I guess if this is happening, and he's going to sort of in his hands, before he pulls out his flail, he's going to in his hands just sort of like form this fire, and it sort of spins and shifts and contorts and moves around and then he casts it just through the room and throws up this large sort of ball of fire. No, throw up. Like just throws this like ball of fire that hits the ground just like here, but it doesn't explode. No, it sort of just lands, and this fire emanates in the ground, trickling and dancing away, and then from it climbs out this spinning, contorting, twisting elemental of fire as he casts Conjure Elemental, which is going to be de-sting.
Oh, so cute.
I know, right?
Jojo, I just want you to spend all of this fight thinking that we could have been in Subal's lair now.
That's not how travel
We're not.
works.
We're not.
That's what he's going to do. And that's pretty much all he's going to do, because he didn't know any bonus actions or anything. So, boom. And he's just going to say, my pretty soul, it has been so long. Just deal with these pests for me, please. Don't kill them, no, don't burn them up. I need to take them back with me, okay? So if you just do your thing, and then the fire and the metal just turns on, and then turns around and goes for you guys. Next up is Ayla. Ayla, what are you doing? You're right next to this guy. This Ignatus. Lord Ignatus of the Brass City. There's... to summon other Ayla. Well, technically Celine. She's like that one. Yeah. Cool. You can attack with advantage because you summon this thing. Like, ooh, the Dragonborn has skills. I like it. Does that hit? Oh, 21. Actually, yes, that does it.
The 21 doesn't hit.
Two-handed or one-handed? Two-handed. 15 damagios onto this guy. 3. Nice. And I'm assuming you're going to do that again.
I get 3 attacks.
No, you get
2 attacks.
2 attacks. Yeah. So, or roll your next attack. Next up is, I believe, Gava, so think about what you do. And 10. Damn, you guys are dealt some decent damage, yes.
So I'm going to use... Should be... Oh, I can just do that.
Yeah, you're using Unleashing Incarnate?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Attack again, because you can, from the other thing. So you summon this thing, whack, whack, and then from behind him, the other Celine, I guess it is, goes for an attack. So just roll a regular Warhammer attack. Just roll the hit again. 17 just hits. And 6. Cool. He is now going to use one of his legendary actions
Oh.
to whack you, sadly, because you've really annoyed him. As a 27. Which I'm assuming. Probably hits. I'll let her think that
Can I
hits.
say I would have activated my armor before this fight started?
Yeah, that's fair. Going into dangerous situations and stuff
It was
is
like drawing out
scary, so
preparing to fight.
yeah. Okay, so you take 7 bludgeoning damage plus 2 8s, 16 fire damage.
Oh dear.
17.
And now it is you, Irvin. What you doing?
7 before me.
And then 16. Oh, no, whoever's next on the list I put up on the top.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see the list. Sorry, I looked at yeah. Right.
No, technically it's hedge. It's a hedge era.
Okay. Well, I will Hunter's Mark the elemental thing.
Yes.
Should
actually look up the stats for a fire elemental.
And I'm trying to work out if is there down this corridor I'm guessing like all the light spilling through. There's no darkness in here that I can hide in, is there?
Because you took out. Well, does it need to be like complete darkness or just dim light?
It says. It says while in darkness.
While in darkness. Okay, so there wouldn't be any permanent darkness that you could potentially hide in. Maybe some of the rubble you could, like down here or whatever, you could potentially try and hide behind a rock or whatever. But no, if you were looking for pure darkness, you'd have to go back up the stairs.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the position I shot from initially, was like halfway up the stairs.
I mean, like, you'd have to go like pretty much fully up the stairs to be in darkness.
Okay. If there's no darkness, I'll just shoot then. First set in combat, so I get 3 shots.
That you do.
First one normally.
27. Definitely hits a fire elemental.
Okay, so 12 piercing damage. And Hunter's Mark 4.
Mark 4.
We'll sharpshooter the second one for a -5. Oh, that's not going to hit. And then regular on the third. That's garbage.
Yeah, so sadly, no. Sharpshooter doesn't hit on the second, and the third doesn't hit. And as you fired the first one off, your arrow definitely seems to like part some of it. And as it sort of like flies through, it does sort of make this like small hole, which is eventually enveloped again. And it definitely does seem to do a little bit of damage.
They are magical. My bow is magical.
Oh, your bow is magical. Then it does the full damage. Nice. The full set. So that's 16 piercing damage as you fire through this thing, and actually a lot more of what you would imagine would happen happens. It strikes through, and this thing it turns towards you, and probably is looking for a bit of a scrap.
Put myself as far away as I can, even though I'd still be like down the corridor, basically.
Cool. Yeah. Garva, it is now your go.
Mm-hmm. I go here, and then I'll try and aim at Sacred Flame at the Fire Elemental.
Sacred Flame at the Fire Elemental, go ahead. It needs to make a dex save. What's it?
I mean Guiding Bolt, sorry, not Sacred Flame.
Guiding Bolt. Go for it, Guiding Bolt.
Please hit,
I was
please. That's 24.
Yeah, as you summon this bolt, flies towards this creature, and unlike this like small arrow, this like blows a lot of the fire, like burns a lot of it sort of like away, and it has this like hole almost in its shoulder that is quickly re-enveloped again. But it definitely hits and definitely does the damage. So roll the damage.
15.
15. Nicely
Like
done.
arrow and it does more damage.
Hmm?
Ben was like, "Oh, I like this little arrow that only burns a little bit away." And there's
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. But I guess because your arrow is like a small single thing, whereas this is like a a bolt. I guess it depends on how you see guided bolt, I guess. But nicely done.
And then it's my bonus action. My skin will start to go the colour of the night sky, and I will adopt my starry form.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, you begin to
Oh, lovely.
Oh,
that's wonderful, that is.
Begins to change into this sort of shifting dark blues and blacks and all sorts. You can see small sort of constellations over his skin and things like that as he adopts this beautiful iridescent form of the night sky.
Look at me.
Lovely.
And then I will choose the... Ooh, I'll go for the arrow.
Go for the arrow.
Yeah, so I get a bonus action attack. So that'll be D20 plus 5 wisdom modifier. Range spell attack, yeah, so this plus 8. Oi!
Oi! Very, very nice.
So I think it's 1d8, so it's 2d8 plus
2d8.
1 with wisdom modifier. Okay, please be good. Oh, so that's 12?
12 against the fire elemental or against him?
Oh, yeah, fire elemental.
Against the fire elemental. Nice. 12 damage. Nice.
That is my go.
Cool. He's gonna take another legendary action to real quick move.
Oh, the next attack gets advantage because of the guiding bolt, I think.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Actually, no, he's going to try and sort of like pull out this. So he's got this flail, which he hit you with first. It's like this beautiful brass flail, and on the end is a skull, like pretty much brass skull that within it has this flame burning. And he spins it around, and he's going to try and hit Ayla again for a 12, which doesn't hit. So you can spin this thing around, manage to duck out of the way. Then it is going to be Irvin.
With your guiding bolt, is it the immediate next action or the next?
No,
action
anyone.
that hits
The
him?
next thing that hits him.
The
So
next attack that targets him.
Okay.
yeah,
And you hit the elemental, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna go for the big guy, and I'm
Go.
going to pick up a rock. I'm guessing there's like rocks and
there's loads of rocks and crap all around on the floor. Yeah,
I'm gonna get a rock and cast catapult.
catapult.
Yes.
Very nice. Yeah, you just sort of target one of the stones on the floor, and it suddenly just shifts and flies off the ground. I think that's a dex save, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Oh god, that's 14.
Oh, he fails. Haha, yes.
Ah,
Wait, 3 d8. It's not too bad.
13. Not too bad. Yeah, you see this rock fly sort of straight through the middle of it, dispelling a load of the fire before it just really quickly envelops it back again as this thing. So 13.
Did that go at the fire elemental or the guy?
No, the guy.
Oh, the guy. Right. Okay. In which case, it just flies over and smacks this guy straight in the face. He needs to make a con save.
That's not how catapult works. It flies in a straight line up to 90 feet in a direction.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, so it'll hit the first thing in that line.
Oh, I thought it flew like wee.
That's
I mean, it
the
depends
thing.
where the rock is. Do you have to be holding it? I'm assuming it's like you target a thing and it flies.
Hold on.
That's
You could
all
also just move if you still want to hit him.
Yeah, you can. Choose one object.
I mean, I
The
can
object-
just.
Yeah,
hit the-
so you could. So I mean, you could choose any like rock over there or any rock like over here. There's plenty of things to hit him if you wanted to hit him. I don't see a problem with that.
Yeah. I go.
Yeah.
10, 15. I'll go here. Here? Will that miss everyone else? Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah.
Perfect.
Gets it.
Again,
Hits him.
very much the hobbits throwing rocks at the orcs vibes.
Yeah, and it flies towards him, and yeah, he doesn't even make that con save. Ooh, what's his con? What's his con? Ah, no, yeah, he makes that. But he makes it. Fire elemental is still up. And speaking of fire elemental, actually, no, he's going to go next. And he's going to move just 5, 10, 15, 20. Gonna move there. With his legendary action. So Ayla, I believe you can make an opportunity attack with your thing if you would like to. Use your reaction. No, you can't because you use your reaction to teleport. Sadly, you can't do that. That was at the very beginning of the round.
Reaction was that I can't.
Yeah, I said you can use a reaction to teleport if you'd
Just
like.
said you can.
I'm sorry, it's your reaction. That's it. But then the fire elemental is going to do something cool. It's going to it's gonna try and do something cool. It's gonna try and who did the most damage to it? That's a good question. Looking back, it's not very
I think
smart.
it was Hedge.
So I think it would have been Hedge. So Hedge, this fire elemental is just gonna come like straight up the stairs towards you.
How long is
It's
the
gonna-
corridor?
The corridor. So from there, it goes that 20 foot stairs. So from sort of the edge here, where the fire elemental is, it goes 20 feet.
Oh, so it's straight into stairs.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I was imagining a longer corridor between the stairs and the gate.
Oh no, sorry, that's my bad. Yeah, no, it is like
I
you
thought
know
I
you
was
get
safe.
straight to the
I am
stairs.
not.
I'm gonna be honest. This thing has a flying speed of 90 feet,
Oh,
so
fuck me.
it's fine.
Nowhere is safe.
Oh no, sorry, 50 feet, but still.
Well, more places are safe.
Nowhere is it? Some places are safe.
And it's going to try and hit you. What's its modifier? It gets. That's interesting. And that's probably really lucky because that's a 16 to hit. The first
Misses.
one misses. And for fuck's sake, 11 to hit, which also misses. So as it sort of goes up to you, it just comes with both hands, and you turn around, just pointing the shell in its direction, which just takes the brunt of the fire, and it sort of like recoils back, going to attack you. And I think he's used all of his legendary actions, so we would go back to the top of the round. However, it is 20 to 11, so we will pretty much call it there. Thank you very much for joining me this week. I hope you all enjoyed. We are actually getting close to the end of all this. You are getting very close to the
Ben's
ruins.
code for us dying in this battle.
Very close to the end, and I
To the
kill
end
you
of this,
all.
I thought battle might happen, but I also thought maybe you could talk your way out of it. I wasn't quite sure, if I'm honest. I was very
Or
interested
just
to
not
see.
touch the lamp.
Or I thought
Hey,
maybe you
I
just
never
wouldn't
touched
touch
the lamp.
and you'd just
You did.
wade through it.
Not
You shot
physically. I
You
didn't
shot
touch
the
it,
lamp.
An arrow touched it.
The arrow is an extension of you.
We'll see how much you believe next week when Hedge is lying to you
I'm
about what happened with his +9 deception.
Yeah, because you had. Yeah, because it was going to be an encounter. It was going to be an encounter wherever you went. If you went to the buildings or in this, and this one was definitely the more fun one because I like the Ifriti character that I thought up in my head. Not necessarily combat encounters, just encounters with things, and you would encounter things. But yeah, hope you're
What
on.
were the things in
Hope
the
you're
storm,
enjoying.
then? Were they just
Pardon?
air elementals?
Yeah, they were air myrmidons.
Oh,
Myrmidons.
yeah, Myrmidon. They're like are they like slightly up or down? I can't remember from.
They are beefed up air elementals that technically they're meant to have like armor and flails and shit.
Oh yeah, they
But,
look really weird.
They look fucking cool, but
Yeah, the-
well,
Yes, we'd have lost that then.
well, they were. You would have realized fairly quickly. Actually, I won't say that because
Oh yeah, they look cool.
like this is only like 40 minutes into a storm that
Yeah.
could last a very long time. Actually, that's one thing I meant to do. Someone roll me. I don't care who, but one of you roll me 1d8.
There you go. That's what Myrmidons look like.
Oh, they're
Just
like.
armored elementals. They're cool. Okay,
Don't take mine.
one of you roll it. So I'm not gonna. Okay, I'm gonna say
Go with. I mean, Beats went first, so go with him.
yeah. Beats.
No.
Or rather, who did go first? Irvin, you went first.
Oh, sorry.
The storm is going to last 3 hours.
Damn it.
Oh, okay, mine would be.
Could have been worse.
Could have been worse. Could have been
Hey, you get a long rest down here then.
an 8. Only one long rest in 24 hours, so you would have just been sat here. Although maybe you'll need a long rest in here after this.
But when does that 24 hours start?
It starts when you finish the long rest.
We can have a nice short.
See-
You finish the long rest.
Yeah. No,
But you
no,
don't have
it
to
would
go
be. It would be from
24
when you
hours before you finish the
start.
long rest.
It would be from when you start the long rest. So
Ah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah,
So 8
Because-
hours long rest, so you've got to have 16 hours.
16 hours out of resting to do stuff.
Okay, we'll take 8 consecutive short rests.
Yeah, no. Hope
Good
you'll
session, Ben.
enjoy. This
This
is
guy's a
a
dick, he's going to get some arrows in
lot
the
of good,
face.
lot of good fun. Yeah, we'll see how this combat goes, and hopefully next session we'll be moving on to the sort of like final part-ish of this. Obviously, with you guys breaking out of prison and stuff, and lots of stuff sort of happening, and that encounter with the Scorpion people last time, that was meant to be a quick killing. But I think I mentioned it to JJ, like I'd accidentally planned that one for, like in my head, that you guys were 4 level 13 people, not 4 level 8 people, so it was a whole thing. But there we are. Thank you all very much for coming. Looking forward to next week.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
If I ended up taking off the storm, then this would have been fine.
Isn't that gonna kill you?
I would have taken him.
Die. Okay, see you later.